entitlement, need for admiration, lack of empathy, and then, of course, the pathological lying, thinking they're above the law, and sadism and paranoia. So that was an easy one to say, okay, because cults often have totalist cult leaders. Not all cults, destructive cults, in my opinion, need to have a leader. They can be an ideological cult as well, following a book that had been written even hundreds of years ago, or some scriptures hundreds of years.
Does she have any idea what's in that book? Does she have the life experience or maturity or perspective to properly digest what she reads in that book? And yet she's all in. She has absolutely bought it. Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Little ones to him belong, for they are weak and he is strong. And the edict to target children comes straight from the pages of Scripture. Proverbs 22 tells us, train up a child in the way he should go. When he's old, he will not depart or turn from it. Maybe you're familiar with the old Jesuit proverb, give me a child until he is 7, and I will give you the man. And churches will tell you specifically they're desperate to get the kids. There's an organization called Grow Churches, and a couple of children's reading from the news site Redux. It says, photos and videos out of a Canadian high school are going viral as they show a male teacher wearing what appears to be a large prosthetic breast in full view of young students. Shocking media first began to circulate on Twitter earlier this week, with multiple accounts sharing a cell phone video and stills of a shop teacher demonstrating how to use a circular saw. The teacher is seen wearing an extremely prominent prosthetic bust, one which clearly outlines the nipples through his tight shirt. He's also donning a bright blonde wig and short shorts. Multiple photos and videos have surfaced of the same individual instructing young students, and in all of them, he's wearing the oversized bust. The media has been confirmed as originating from Oakville, Trafalgar, I think, right? High School in Oakville, Ontario. The man seen in the photos and videos is a manufacturing technology instructor who allegedly began identifying as a woman last year. The teacher now goes by the name, reading from the news site.
Oh, jeez. Sorry. We won't make you watch that.
No surgical intervention happening to transgender
Oh.
their sex. This is simply not happening. Here are the actual facts. Medical professionals are not giving puberty blockers to children who have not reached puberty. Puberty blockers are fully reversible. Hormone treatments don't generally begin until after 6 years. Sex reassignment surgery is considered an 8 based on certain criteria. Gender affirming care is life saving. Share this post to spread facts.
Facts. Shut up. Puberty blockers are not irreversible. That is a fact. Surgeries are happening to minors. That is also a fact. You can find that on many hospitals' websites in videos that they have actually published, that they're not trying to hide, but that they confidently publish. And sorry to burst your bubble, but gender affirming care is not life-saving care. It actually just does irreversible damage to an impressionable young person. Hi, my name is Taz and I'm a preschool teacher. So my classroom celebrates diversity. It's probably my favorite thing to teach. Recently we started wearing pronoun pins, and the kids get to pick a new pronoun pin we have some that pick like she, her every single day, and we have some that change it up. I don't even think this person can construct a full sentence. Like, that was the most frantic, all over the place thing I've ever seen. I'm still not over the fact that at the beginning of the video, she admits that she is a preschool teacher and then says that she encourages her preschoolers to pick different pronouns every day. These are literal children. They're probably picking the pins because they have butterflies or robots on them. Like, most 4-year-olds are still eating boogers and dog food, but they're smart enough to
Alright. So, why did I show you all those clips? Well, I'm going to title this something different. But, yeah, this is to talk about, at least this is my personal perspective of what's going on. So I'm going to call it trans ideology, because I don't know what else to call this. But, just a minute here. So, alright, yeah, these are my personal thoughts and opinions. Before I get started, I want to make a few things clear. I don't have issues with people who are lesbian, gay, or bi. You don't have control over what sex you're attracted to. This has been observed in nature. So this topic is something I've thought deep about over a year, and I've watched channels such as Transatlantic Call-In Show, Trans Issues and Questions, that's all one title, and series. I will leave links to these. That, along with many long conversations with until a month ago, a close friend. There is an epidemic of psychological confusion being encouraged in colleges, media, and now schools. My concern isn't what grown adults do to their body, it's what ideas are being pushed, and where that tragic road ends. So, what does my beliefs say about it? Here are the points that stand out to me the most in the 11 points of Luciferianism and the Satanic Tenets. Again, these are my personal opinions and thoughts, so other people who have these same belief systems may have a different opinion, and they're welcome to share them. In Luciferian 11 points of power, 4 and 7 stood out the most. The fourth power of Luciferian is the adversary symbolizes the spark of consciousness which questions everything. There shouldn't be any topic we can't talk about. When free speech is in jeopardy, so is the ability to think. The comedians in society are alike to birds and miners used to detect contamination in the air. And so is being like media controlling your speech. So, in the seventh power of Luciferian, Lucifer represents the courage and fortitude to acquire healthy self-love, leading to the responsibility of honoring your temple of mind, body, and spirit. When I hear people talk about being born in the wrong gendered body, aka gender dysphoria, it's a mental issue, not a physical issue. Being uncomfortable in your body isn't a joke. Changing your body to match your emotion or feelings is a high risk, low reward. Learning to love yourself is important for everyone. There is nothing wrong with seeking help or therapy. In the Satanic Tenets, 2, 3, and 4 stand out the most. 2. One's body is invulnerable, subject to one's own will alone. Any adult of 21 years of age and of sound mind is free to do what they want, including surgeries. However, children are not responsible enough to make these decisions. I also want to add this in here. If you expect people to pay taxes and this to be, something that they pay into, they have the right to ask questions. And if they don't agree, they have the right to not agree. So, on number 3, the freedom of others should be respected, including the right to offend. To willingly and unjustly encroach upon the freedom is to one's own. So freedom of speech is the biggest issue here. The ability to speak freely is necessary to think and to communicate. If two opposing people / views, groups or views, can't have a civil discord verbally and discuss their differences, there is nothing left but to fight it out. The B.I.T.E model, B.I.T.E, represents behavior, information, thought, and emotion control. Enforce language and control over what topics can be discussed is information and thought control. You can't negotiate without some discord, but without words, disagreements become physical. So, in the fourth, beliefs should conform to one's best scientific understanding of the world. Never distort scientific facts to fit one's own belief. It is common knowledge that a male's chromosomes are XY and a female's are XX. Regardless of surgeries, if dug up 200 years from now, the sex born as is still what will show. Claiming that because of a chemical imbalance in the brain means that you are the opposite gender isn't just plain semantics, is scientifically untrue. So what does science have to say about this? Well, I wanted to find a clip of Bill Nine's The Science Guy from 1996, because I remember watching it as a kid, and finding an episode that attributes biological sex biological sex to chromosomes. But it has been removed, now replaced with Bill 9 on sexuality and gender spectrum, 2017. So while I liked Bill versus Ken Ham debate, and I do encourage you to look that up if you haven't seen that, in this particular deal, I'm convinced that he drank some of the Kool-Aid. So I'm not really the woke Kool-Aid or whatever you want to call it. Let's see here. Indoctrination of children. Religion and church has been used to indoctrinate children. Just as many adults can't be logicked out of beliefs they were not logicked into, children are just as vulnerable to ideologies. The tricky part is that the radical left want to group the right to have surgery and pass as the opposite gender as the same as teaching others, especially children, that this uncommon psychological issue as normal. Being transgender and making up new pronouns is a trend. Where I see this leading and why we shouldn't ignore this. This is a trend of videos on TikTok showing recent college grads exposing these ideas, both in the videos but also sharing in videos of what they do in class. Children and young adults are impressionable. Encouraging mental disability as a way of getting attention is dangerous. No decent doctor should recommend a permanent fix to a temporary problem. But to suggest that there is no consequence to give kids hormone blockers, quote, all reversible, that's scientifically untrue. As your body goes through puberty, it goes under many chemical changes. You can't undergo this process anytime you want. Like, you can't just have puberty twice. The information on the chemical blockers is largely unknown long-term and it is understood as of now that this early can lead to sterilization. Throwing in on top of that, bottom and top surgery just adds physical and financial pain to the problem. The radical left pushing this ideology among speech control and other things are participating in Marxism. In a Marxist society, no social classes are in conflict and there is no government anymore. It's a feel-good notion, an argument based on feelings rather than reason or science.